see anyone on. Okay. Is she? There we go. Hey, what's up, Jesse? So, real quick, one of the things that we were talking about, hello, was if you're doing these videos, it's probably time to invest in some equipment. I think more people have been watching it later. They've been sleeping in, which is a good thing, and then watching them on YouTube later, which is awesome. But there still are a few people here in the morning joining us. I'm going to create a list of some exercise equipment that will be helpful so that next week we can start to do a little bit more. So having a dumbbell, having some super bands, having the ability to even use like a pull-up bar. So pairing that pull-up bar with a super band so that you can do those pulling exercises and really build some of those upper body pulling movements. I'm looking at trying to get a TRX strap. I've messaged like 5 or 6 people. This is part of the issue with trying to get equipment sometimes on like Facebook or OfferUp is that sometimes people just throw things up there and then they don't respond or forget that they've left things on there. And so there's also a pair of dumbbells that I really wanted to get. And the guy's like, yeah, you can come over tomorrow. And then I never heard from him. So either way, you're going to get a lot better deal on those as far, like, especially the more weight that you're trying to get. Typically, you can get a better deal if you find somebody who already has it. And that stuff is pretty durable. You know, kettlebells, dumbbells, pull-up bars are pretty cheap. And yeah, so it's already 7 o'clock. So let's get going. Today, kind of the main thing we wanted to do was, you know, most of the exercises that we do, whether we're in the gym or I guess even the ones we've done here at home, are kind of stuck in one plane of motion. It's very sagittal plane. Today I wanted to mix it up a little bit and start getting the body rotating a little bit. And so the kind of the main principle today is that we have these 3 snowballs: our head, our rib cage, and our pelvis, and we want those things to be able to rotate independently. And so some of the things that we're going to do from our warm-up to the exercises are going to just kind of take that into consideration. And you know, we're still going to do some strength training. We're still going to do some circuit kind of tempo things later. But yeah, let's get going. So the first exercise here is a bretzel, or if you don't have the mobility to necessarily do this movement, you can do like a good old-fashioned couch stretch. And so Janelle, have you just do that old-fashioned couch stretch on the side, and then I'll go through the bretzel. I'll take this. Use a foam roller here. So I'll set her up. Go to half kneeling. Just one knee down. You might want to use your little. And don't put your leg up yet. Just have your. Don't put your leg up yet. So just put on the ground. Just half kneeling. Yeah. So and switch legs so they can see. So going into half kneeling here, we're gonna do a hip flexor stretch, and the big thing we're gonna work on today is really extending at that hip and maximizing our hips doing the work and not our back. And so from this position, try and tuck your tailbone or get your back pocket towards the floor, and then keep your ribs back. And so by using the foam roller, you can kind of press down and engage your abs a little bit, and you should be able to feel that stretch a lot better. So I've had a lot of clients that I put them in this position like, oh, I don't feel the stretch. Really work on tucking your butt and getting your ribs back, and that should help you feel a better stretch. And if you still don't feel much of a stretch, go ahead and elevate the back leg. And yeah, just don't let it, you know, if you're gonna extend that leg on the couch, don't let it put you into like an excessive lordosis. Make sure you're staying tight. You feel a better stretch that way. You know? Yeah, cool. While she's working on that, I'm going to take you through the bretzel. Let's take a little bit of mobility. Let's put this camera down a little bit. What's up, Lauren? So this is one of my favorite stretches, actually. When I do this, I tend to feel a lot looser after going through this. So we're going to go to kind of a side lying position here. We're going to bring one leg in front and one leg behind. And like I said, if the mobility is challenging for this one, just go ahead and do what Janelle is doing. But I'm going to grab at my bottom foot, and I'm going to pull back, and I'm going to throw my bottom hand on my thigh to keep me from rotating. And then from here, as I'm pulling that bottom leg, I'm going to rotate, and I'm trying to think about getting this shoulder back down towards the floor. And take some breaths. What's that?
You're tight.
Yeah, I'm really tight today. I'm kind of sore. We've been working out a lot. We played some spike ball yesterday. This feels like a really good stretch. Take like 5 good breaths in this position. Really trying to extend this bottom leg behind me. Again, what's nice about this is it puts us in a position where it makes it a little bit more difficult to like overextend at the back, which is not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get all of this from the hip to the other side. Let's see, frame. Okay. Again, so top leg in front. We're gonna block it with the hand. We're gonna grab a hold. Extend back. If you don't have the mobility to do this, go ahead and do what Janelle's doing. She's also getting a good hip flexor stretch. I just like that we also get a little bit of rotation here from the upper body. This feels really good. Could just go to sleep like this.
Good night.
Just take my hands up. Usually go for like 5 breaths with most things, or 30 seconds to 45 seconds of getting into that position. There's some other positions I played around with similar to this that I like, and maybe we'll do that another day. Let's see who else is jumping on here. Hello, what's up, Tasha, Dan? Good to see you too. The next thing we're going to work on is going to a leg extension from rock back, and so what's nice about this position too is it kind of limits the range of motion from your upper body, and again we're working on trying to get all the power out of our hips. So I'm going to go to all fours with my elbows down, kind of like a weird plank, and then from here I'm working on keeping my abs tight. To keep you honest, if you have like a towel or something, you can put something flat into your lower back. And what we're going to work on is trying to drive through the heel and extend the leg straight back as I squeeze my butt. And then I'm coming back, extend, kicking straight back. We're not kicking up, straight back, pushing through the heel, coming back. Sometimes I've seen people will use the floor sometimes to give people more tension through that glute. If you just kick straight back through the heel and squeeze your butt, I think that's probably your best bet. Let's shoot for 10 on each side. What we don't want to see is as I bring the leg back that I'm going to like overextend my back. A lot of times you'll see people do this one, or they're on all fours and they do this and their kind of like head goes up and their foot goes to the ceiling. Like it's just straight back. It's a butt squeeze. It's a flat back. Gonna get a lot more out of the drill and a lot more out of feeling your butt if you keep good position and fine. I guess I should even out and do the other side. Like this way. And then if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more through those abs, you can go to all fours and extend straight back. Next thing we got is a hollow hold, so really just trying to fire up those abs. I'm gonna try this one. So we're gonna do like 5 good breaths. Scoot that way just a little bit, I think. Yeah. Hands and feet straight up. From here, your home base is your lower back, just like we focus on a lot of other exercises. And then you're gonna let your hands and your feet fall away from each other, just to the point where you feel like your lower back might come off the floor. You can bring your hands back a little more too, keep bringing them back. Basically trying to like pull it apart as you keep that good position. And then once you find that position, try and take 5 breaths. Should be shaking, it should be pretty challenging. If you feel like you're not able to keep your lower back flat, come back a little bit. Janelle's like pretty dang strong, and it's even for her it's pretty challenging because you know you're trying to find your end range here and
scale this way.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just don't go as far, right? Like just don't reach your legs so far. The goal is to kind of find a position and then be able to breathe from that position for a little bit. It's just 5 breaths, just 5 good breaths. Should feel like a good amount of abs there. And then I think we're standing. Yeah, we're gonna go to standing. So here's another nice exercise to help get those hips moving in some different planes of motion. I recommend getting a chair or a foam roller. And maybe we can bring that camera up a little bit. Who's this? Kyle. Hey, what's up, Kyle? Good to see you. Andy, good morning. Man, you guys are up early. What are you doing up so early, Andy? I know that you don't get up this early. So from here, we're going to go through some airplanes. And so it's kind of like that single leg RDL position we talked about last time, kind of teetering. I'll go kind of sideways so you can see. From here, using that foam roller to help us balance. And then once we get into that position, when we start to feel the hip working, we're gonna come out and try and face our hips away from our foot. So I'm pushing my foot through the floor, trying to feel butt. And then we're gonna rotate back.
Andy's still sleeping.
He's still sleeping.
And Kyle's just ready for work.
Oh, okay. And we're rotating back and forth. So my hips are square to my hips are facing away. And the pivot is from the glutes. Let's do like 8 on each side because this takes a while. Should feel kind of like that single leg RDL position, but then we're rotating and squeezing. If you don't feel your butt, I'm sorry, I don't know. You might not have one. Try it. So single leg RDL, your hips are going to stay parallel to the floor first. Once you get to there, you don't even need to go that much of a teeter if you. Yep, and now you rotate, squeeze your butt, facing those hips away from the floor and then coming back in. Try not to lose that heel. It's tough when you don't have shoes, like if you're used to working out with shoes a lot. I went back to shoes because the first couple days we were doing stuff, it just feels weird being on hardwood floor with no shoes. But that is a good way to maybe challenge yourself a little bit more. And then from here, open it up, try and squeeze your butt. Pushing your foot through the floor, especially at the arch, trying to really push away, and then bringing yourself back in. Oh yeah. Okay, then we're getting some good single leg balance stuff going. Just kind of waking up. Oh, we got some other people chatting over here. Squeeze. Nice. So about 8 each side or so. Work. Okay, we're gonna do. You can do this from standing. I like to do it from half kneeling just because I want to be in a like super stable position. We're gonna go through some shoulder and scap circles. So let's start with just shoulder. So your hands are relaxed. From here, we're going up like a shrug, bringing the shoulders forward as far as you can, depressing them down, and I'm basically just trying to create the biggest circle I can. If I drew a dot here on my shoulder. And I was trying to bring it around and creating the biggest circle I possibly can. But we're going to go nice and slow. forward. Luca Hocevar had us do this when we were at Vigor for the business summit, and one rotation is supposed to take a minute, and you're supposed to just hold that end range as you push through. And I was sore the next day. We did the shoulder scap slide, and then we did like some ones where the whole arm, and we'll do that next. If you really do it with that much intention and that much effort, yeah, it feels really good. I felt really good the next day on my shoulders.
You see Keeney's video?
Did he do something like that?
All the mobility. He spin it up, so it's like woo, 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 woo.
Oh, that's awesome. Up, around. Yeah, I really highly recommend getting a kettlebell if you don't have one. Because I'd really like to start doing some swings and teaching that. I've found, even though I've been more active, I've also had more opportunity to sit in this time of quarantine, and going to that kettlebell and knocking out some swings has kind of helped keep my legs from feeling super weak and tight. And then the next thing we're going to do is go to, just do one arm at a time. All the way up, around, nice and slow. Look. Around again, trying to make the biggest circle you possibly can. You can open up and rotate a little bit here. If you're in that half kneeling position, even if you're standing, you can do it too. Let's go 5 one way and then 5 the other way. And we're going to move a little faster than 1 per minute. Still want you trying to find that end range though. Put some effort into it. Good morning, Victoria. Okay, and back to let's do the leg extension from rock back once you get done. We're gonna have to go down again. Good morning, guys. Keep up the good work. Payroll. Thank you, Victoria. Yeah, go ahead. I'll scoot back just a little bit. No, elbows. Elbows down, going back to that rock back, kicking straight back. Boom. And you should feel your butt. Nice flat back, Chanel's doing an awesome job. Shooting for about 8 each sides. Squeeze. Nice thing too is like if we get some of those super bands, the little like red band, you can progress this movement by grabbing hold of it, putting it around the arch of your foot, and getting a little bit more resistance out of just this movement. There's also a way to wrap it around like for a glute bridge. I mean, you can use those bands for a lot of stuff. So, I mean, I think they're under $10. So, at least for that style of band. Hollow hold, one more time. Figure out where you're at in frame. Go ahead. Big exhale. Keeping that lower back nice and flat. She's got her abs engaged, and now she's breathing in behind that tension. Practicing. Good abs. Let's see what we do. Tough. Can make that one pretty hard pretty fast, yeah. Which is nice. Just 5 breaths, and then one more time with those airplanes. As we go into that single leg position, I gotta raise this up again. Up, here. Yep, in that single leg RDL, kind of teeter-totter position, and then we're gonna open those hips up towards the camera. You can also look this way if that helps you to balance. Yep. and then hips go down, closing the book, and then opening the book, really pivoting from that glute. Very nice. You went a little further that time. There you go. Alright. A little bit of balance too. Yeah. Shooting for a 5 each side. If you're going really, really slow and feeling lots of tension, as long as we're at around like 30 seconds to 45 seconds of time under tension, then I'm pretty happy about that. Open up, squeeze that glute. Should be pretty challenging for most people. Good. Okay. One more time, we'll go shoulder circles. Up, around. Especially if we've been sitting at a desk all day, this stuff should make your shoulders and your neck feel a little bit better. What's the plan for today?
Rollerblading?
I don't have any of those.
You can run.
No, I don't want to run next to you. You're gonna leave me in the dust.
You can bike. You don't use your back in here.
I know the tires are flat.
You got a bump? Oh, pickleball at 10.
I'm playing pickleball. Where?
You can run.
I like being in quarantine.
Stuck with me?
Yep. Alright, let's just finish through these. That was pretty good actually. How does it feel?
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I slept good. I slept like, I didn't wake up until, usually I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I was super tired. Alright, finish them up. Let's call it good. Let's get into our next thing. We're gonna get into some strength stuff here. One of my favorite exercises ever is the hand walkout. One, because I think you can focus a little bit on mobility. It gets people inverted. It helps kind of build tension through the upper body, the abs. I think it's just an awesome movement. I don't know. I used to make like everybody do these pretty much every workout, but it's kind of fallen out recently. But we're putting it back in today. So from here, trying to keep the legs nice and straight the entire time. As I come down, I'm going to walk my hands out as far as I possibly can. Am I still in frame? No. I'm going to walk my hands out as far as I possibly can without losing my lower back. So I'll do this from the side so you can see, because I'm going to have to hand walk right here. Yeah. So legs are nice and straight. I'm coming out. I'm walking my hands out as far as I possibly can without letting my lower back dip towards the floor. So I'm trying to keep a nice flat back. And I'm trying to go, well, hopefully where there's a point of no return, don't go that far. I'm not going to come all the way up. I'm just going to come to where I feel a stretch, maybe in the calf or the hamstring, depending on where you're going to feel this. Depends. And then we're going to walk back out. We're only going to do 8 of these because these take a while. And there's a lot of time under tension, keeping that weight forward in the hands, up to where we feel the stretch, and back out. As far as you can, challenge those abs. Why we practice so much about keeping good spine position and keeping that, keeping the rib cage back, so that we're not using our lower back in some of those type of exercises. Lunge fallouts. So we're gonna do 10 on each leg for these. So we're trying to work on some different planes of motion today. I'm gonna go forward, back. So from here, feet together. We're gonna fall out to one side. and we're gonna try and shift. We're actually gonna rotate our upper body. You can think about if you had like a medicine ball and you were gonna throw the medicine ball to the other side to help you really rotate your body. Now we're gonna come and step back. And so you can really push off. We fall out, we rotate, and then we push. Push. Pretend like you're throwing one of those medicine balls. Boom. 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 This is like kind of an explosive movement, right? Boom. We gotta catch ourselves, and then we gotta turn it back the other way. Catch, turn back the other way. 10 each. You wanna throw that pillow again?
Yeah.
Boom.
Way better than air.
Okay, 10. I think I'm around 10. Boom. See, I gotta go this way. So that does make it a little bit more fun. And this is all we're gonna do for an hour. Step, rotate, boom. And make this powerful. We can still do powerful exercises even with minimal,
Whoa!
even with minimal stuff. I think we're close to 10 now.
I gotta switch.
You have to switch? You didn't do the other side yet?
This is my other side.
I think we do. I already did both sides.
Good for you.
People are waiting.
I just want to throw it at you.
Last couple. Remember, big step, feet together, and then feet apart. Yeah, that's good. Okay, you guys are probably all done, so let's move to the next thing here. Tripod row. Okay, so if you don't have a dumbbell or equipment, then I'll give you a different variation, but ideally, I'm gonna do the variation with some weight. So there's two ways we can do this. On a couch, you're gonna need a couch or a chair at least. If you want more stability, you're gonna go knee and hand on couch with the foot pivoted out, and then from here we're gonna row. And we're gonna do 15 on each side. Really focusing on the shoulder blade moving. The next one, to make it a little bit more challenging, especially if we want to engage that core, which is the one that I prefer, is we take a wide base. So we're going to come forward on the balls of our feet and plant our hand through the couch. And then we're going to row from here. So we've got some abs working. As we push away with this hand, we're like pushing and pulling, right? Getting some movement and rotation from our rib cage a little bit. Yeah. The last one is if you don't have any equipment, I'll have you post up on a tripod on the couch. Or you can go start on all fours, tripod. So you're gonna reach towards the floor, and then you're gonna open up, pushing away from the couch. Touch, pushing away. Keep that weight forward into the hands. See, I'm on the balls of my feet. I'm not putting a lot of the weight into my legs. Reach and push away. If you reach far enough back here, you should still be able to feel some of those upper back muscles moving and working. 15 each side. Guess I gotta do my other side here. Let's switch couches. They can see this on the... Oh, that was loud. This still on frame. Yeah, cool. This part is in frame. Here, a little lower. Makes it a little more challenging. So if you, something about a chair height that's probably ideal. So if you only have like a super heavy weight, do less reps and go to more of that stable position like Janelle's with the knee and the hand on the couch. And just slow it down and really create tension. If you have a lightweight, do more reps for today, which is 15, at least. Looking good. And, okay. Again, I'll give you an option if you don't have any weight for this, but we're gonna work on a sumo deadlift. And so if you do have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, I'll show you both ways to do that. That doesn't matter that much. Here, ideally, this will be one of your heavier weights that you get. We're gonna take a wider base, like outside shoulder width, outside of the traditional kind of deadlift or squat patterning. We're gonna turn our feet out slightly. When I go down to pick up the bell, I'm actually gonna keep my torso more upright like a squat, and I'm gonna work on pushing my hips back. The knees are gonna wanna cave in. Think about trying to spread the floor and push your knees out so that they still track over the middle of your foot. So nice and tall. I've got good tension in my abs, so big exhale when I start. I keep the tension. I come down, pushing knees out. I'm getting my hips back, coming to the bell. Squeeze the armpits. Extend the hips and the knees at the same time. Something I had to work on a lot with Dan. But building this position and building more of the lateral part of the hips has really improved my stability through my hips and my strength. All my numbers have gone up just from working on this kind of more lateral part and building this like more outer part of my posterior chain. So you're gonna want to stay more upright like a squat, and think about pushing the knees out over the feet. This is what's challenging too, is if the weight is kind of small, just don't go down all the way. Like try and stay as upright as you can and do the squat as you can. Think about pushing your hips back. We're gonna try and stay more upright this way. Go ahead and watch from the side for one. Yeah, you're gonna go hips back, but you're gonna keep your torso. It's more like a squat. Where I'm still kind of like a back squat, pushing out, upright. Knees and hips at the same time. Try with the bell maybe. Wide base. There you go. Boom. Yep. Better. Nice. And if your weight isn't very big, just don't go down all the way. Like you don't have to touch the ground each time. Like work on coming down to where you feel that tension and then boom, right back up. We're going for 15 of those. Like I said, ideally this is going to be one of your heavier weights that you have at home. If you're relatively strong, it's good to start investing in some 24, 28, 32 kg kettlebells. It's pretty nice for movements like this. Yeah, keep pushing those knees out. Yeah, push them out, push them out. There you go. Make Dan proud. I don't know. I don't think he's watching anymore. He stopped by for a second, but what did he say? Up. Ah. Hey, Tim Stanfield. Stopped by. Nice. Nice. All right. Going back to the top here with those hand walkouts. Going for 8. It's a little challenging with space, but so here we're just gonna do 8 of these. Legs straight, walking out as far as you can without letting that lower back dip or letting your belly button dip towards the floor. Coming back nice and slow. If this is challenging for you, I should have made this modification at the beginning, but you just go to your knees. Kind of like an ab wheel, right? Walking out as far as you can. Oh man, probably get like a pad for your knees. That's really uncomfortable on the ground. There we go. Out. Oh, dude. Up. Again, we're not going up all the way. We're just going to the point where we get a good stretch, and then we're walking walking back out. Try and keep your legs straight the whole time. Knees are nice and straight, and then back up. 8?
Yep.
Awesome. What we got next? The tripod row? Oh, fall out lunges. Yeah. So, again, this is a position where we're working on falling out, we're catching ourselves, so we're decelerating, rotating over, trying to coil ourselves over this hip, and then we're rotating as we, almost like we're throwing a ball. And so we'll step back each time. We step out, and then we step back to the feet together. If you have a ball and a wall that you can throw things at, that'd be sweet. Ten each side. These feel good on my hips too. It feels nice to get into some different motions. What are you seeing?
What?
What are you seeing, Bill?
No.
Some karaoke? That's what we should be doing with all this equipment. We should have a karaoke night. I don't have a good speaker though.
That can't convert.
What's that?
That can't convert.
I'm sure I could. I mean, I have an amp, so maybe I could plug my amp in there. That'd be cool. Jesse, you want to do some karaoke? What's up, Zach? Tripod row. 15.
Zach Zingle.
No.
Zach.
Yeah. So if you got a heavier weight, we're going to go to more of this knee and hand stability position. If you want to challenge those abs a little bit with a lighter weight, we're going to go to more of a tripod position. Pushing through. So this is the thing, is if I'm not pushing away from the couch with my hand, my shoulder's going to sink and I'm going to be hanging out on my joints and my ligaments, whatever here. Like, we want to be pretty active about pushing through the armpit and keeping a good stable position with this hand. We're pushing and pulling, right? Pushing away. Getting a little bit of rotation as I'm pushing away. If you don't have any weight, we're going back to this one where we're reaching towards the ceiling, keeping that weight in that front hand for the most part. Squeezing our shoulder blades together at the top. Feels pretty good. Ooh, a little tighter on this side. You all done?
Yeah.
Man, cruising. Zach stopped by. He didn't say anything. Sumo deadlift. Yeah. It's a wider base. We want that bell right underneath us, right? We want to go path of least resistance here. If the weight is out in front of us, more likelihood that we're going to use our back. I'm going to want to do that. Abs are on tight. I'm going to descend, pushing my knees out, staying pretty upright. My hips go back. I want my spine nice and flat. From here, when I grab a hold of that weight, I'm going to squeeze my armpits. I'm extending my hips and my knees at the same time. Pushing the knees out to the middle of the feet as I come down, pushing my hips back. If you don't have a weight, you're just going to focus on that same position of getting into a deep sumo squat. Wide base with the feet, hands reaching towards the floor. I'm pushing my hips back, I'm working on getting to that depth and that tension. I'm still trying to push the knees out, and then I'm gonna come up, boom, hips and knees at the same time. Watch it out of the screen. Pushing those knees out, reaching towards the ground, not rounding over, keeping good integrity of the spine. Ooh, I just got hungry. Okay, one more time. We got one more round of the hand walk out. Try and crank through this stuff. And we're just gonna do 5 because we're just gonna do 5 of those because we're running out of time here. Still want to get into some other stuff. You want to do 8? If you're watching this later, maybe just pause the video for 10 seconds. Oh, it's supposed to come up every time. Why don't you yell at me? Good stretch. What's for breakfast?
Tortilla avocados.
Oh, yeah. Nell's favorite. Okay. Fall out lunch. Kenny said. I feel my hips are loosening up now after doing a couple rounds of these. Hopefully you do too. How do your hips feel?
Good.
Sweet. Tripod row. I'm really liking this variation of reaching to the ceiling. Feels pretty nice. I feel like opening up some stuff. I'm gonna stick with that one. Squeeze those shoulder blades as we reach up. Squeeze. Last sumo. Push those knees apart. Those hips back. Straight down. Real upright like a squat. There you go. Nice job. Take a minute here, grab some water. I had to grab a little snack because I'm getting super hungry. Oh, thank you.
Sneha.
Ah. I didn't recognize it by the name.
It's her dog.
Oh.
Her pug. Her one-eyed pug.
Nice. Okay, so we're gonna be getting into 45-second, 15-second kind of circuit here. Just some jumping jacks, some skater. You can make them jumps, but we're just gonna shift back and forth. Like I said, I want to integrate some kettlebells, so we're gonna be doing some swings. If you're familiar with the hard style swing, that's the one we're gonna be doing. If you have the room to do an American style and not hit a ceiling, I mean, go for it. That's gonna be a lot more work. And then we'll do some alternating lunges. And just real quick to show
She's
you.
in England.
Oh, are you quarantined there, or how are things going there? I assume that people are quarantined
She's studying
everywhere.
abroad.
Oh, I see. Like I said, this app is pretty freaking awesome. Using TrainCentric, I mean, real quick, I can just program the intervals. 45, 15, and then I've just been resetting it after every time we do it. But all right, first exercise. Let's get going. Jumping jacks.
2, 1.
Just normal jumping jack. 45 seconds. Oh, the neighbors are probably like, what the hell are those people doing? It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
30.
Try and be nice and light for your neighbors.
The other one was shoes.
15.
What time can you mow your lawn legally?
Five, four, three, two, one. Rest.
Skater jumps. Okay. So,
5,
again, trying to get into a different range of motion here. It's kind of like those fall out lunges, but it's going to be continuous. From here, there's no rest in between. You can go a little further if you want to challenge yourself. Big thing we're looking for here is just that big shift.
30.
Shift, shift.
15. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest.
Catch your breath here for a second. So we're really going to swings. If you don't have a kettlebell, we're going to go to those drop downs that we did the other day. From here, we're dropping down,
4,
dropping
3,
down.
2.
If you do have a kettlebell, we're going to do some swings. And I'll show you those on the next round because time is going. Figured you know we'll knock some out for you. Dropping down to that athletic position.
30.
If you don't have a bell, be explosive, be fast here, especially on the way down.
15. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest.
Next time we'll show the swing from the side view so people can see. Whew, getting the heart rate up a little bit here. Alternating crunch.
5, 4,
So we're going to do this here.
2,
Knees up.
1.
Try and clear your knee, or try and clear your elbow past your knee and past your leg. Really rotate over there.
30.
Turn this way. Just rotate. Yep.
15. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
whole minute rest here before we hit the next round. 2 more rounds. And then we'll get on with our days. Ah, perfect timing too. I feel like I've got that 55 minutes down. It's like I can't program anything other than 55 minutes.
Is that right?
Yep. It's ingrained in me. Some water, catch your breath. With that swing, we'll do it from the side view this next time so that you can see the positioning, just to make sure that we're doing that right, especially as we go up heavier in weight with those swings. We want to make sure that we're feeling the right stuff, because it does take a lot of skill to do those well. But once you get it, man, it's a great exercise. Swings are one of my favorite. All right, Jenna, you ready? Round 2. Jumping jacks.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, be quiet.
30.
I do it on here. There we go.
Fifteen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest.
Skaters. You got this round?
Socks.
Yeah, you're basically doing that
5,
fall out lunge, but
4,
continuously.
3,
Oh, with socks.
2,
Slide.
1.
Yeah, if you're on socks, just slide back. You gotta shift though. Here, go on. Should feel like that fall out lunge. You gotta really shift your body weight, or everything over one leg. Get deeper.
30.
We're gonna do these. We gotta make sure we're really like shifting over, so that we're able to create some tension. It's tough for Janelle. She's in socks, so she's kind of sliding around.
5, 4, 3,
Don't want to have an
2,
accident.
1. Rest.
All right, swings or drop set. I'll do the. I'm gonna do this from the side view.
5, 4,
So the swings,
3, 2, 1.
nice and tall. Can keep those elbows a little bit soft to help you control yourself. We know the weight is too heavy. If you're leaning back a bunch in your swing, we want to go straight
30.
up. Bell should come right underneath your butt. I see a lot of people doing these where they're kind of dive bombing and really reaching the bell far underneath their legs. Like, it just needs to go right under your butt to straight up. It's not that big a range of motion.
5,
All in the hip.
4, 3, 2, 1. Rest.
Turning crunches.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Looks really nice outside.
30.
It's supposed to be 60.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, we got a minute and we got one more round. Finish with some good breaths here before we leave today. What's up, Kim?
Tell her to come for board games after this.
Right now?
I told her 8:15. AM.
Kim, are you coming over at 8:15? I don't know if she's still there. She might have just popped in and out. Is Jesse still in there? Almost there. I don't know. I have the screen moved, so I have no idea how many people are still here or not here. Kind of like it that way. All right. Last round. Jumping jack.
4, 3, 2,
Jesse's still here.
1.
Nice. All right, jumping jack. Last time. My arms are so long.
30, 15, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest.
Crazy. Last skate or jump or lunge.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shift. 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 Continuous. If you want to go a little faster, a little more explosive, tap, 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 tap.
30,
Rotate. Is this what it's going to feel like later when we're rollerblading?
15,
What time is that?
56.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest.
Ooh. Swing. Or drop downs.
All you. You
5, 4, 3,
Keep these things looking good. You got a big hike under the butt.
Where's the dumbbell?
No reason you can't do the dumbbell. Pop. Nice and tall. Pop. Right under the butt. Bam. I'll do it. Hup.
15, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest.
That's really not the way you want to dismount that, but it's pretty light for me, so that's still not a good excuse.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Last one, let's go. Get it done.
15, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ooh.
Nice work. Real quick, because we're going to be doing more swings over the next couple weeks or week or whatever is going to happen with this quarantine, is the way that we set it up